So Israel Adesanya was asked about retirement after his loss today, uh, and he said, he doesn't really know. He's got to see about it. He's got to see. He's got to look over everything, and conditioning wise, fight wise, strength wise, camp wise, coach wise, a whole bunch of things. He's got to look at and think about. Like I said, I'm not calling for Izzy to retire. I'm not saying Izzy needs to retire. I'm not recommending that Izzy retire. But I think it should be considered. Not recommending it, just saying what I would be recommending is the consideration, not choosing to retire. The consideration, and that's what Izzy's doing. He's considering it. He's thinking about what he's got to lose, what he's got to gain, how he's doing, and I think that's what he needs to do because, um, you know, it's not like Izzy's getting fucking dog walked in these fights, and particularly in the beginning of all three of these back-to-back-to-back losses against Sean Strickland, Dricus, and Nasruddin. Izzy looks good starting out. He looks good. He looks focused, poignant, powerful. Everything seems to be there starting out. And then some way along the road, particularly midway through the fight or close to midway through the fight, he loses it. Whether it's focus, whether it's just, not seeing the counter shot, he just loses it, man. And I don't know if that is the age, if it's the damage, I don't know what it is, but he's losing it. He's losing it at the most precise and the most imperative moment of the fight. He gives his back to Dricus. He doesn't see the cross from Strickland. Doesn't see the shot from Imavov today. He's just he does well until he doesn't, and it is very discouraging as an Izzy fan because you start to see him do well, and then you get your hopes up, and you really think he's gonna pull through, and then all of a sudden, that's done. All of a sudden the fucking train just breaks through your fucking house of hope, for lack of a better analogy. But like I said, it should be considered. I don't know what would be next for Izzy. Maybe Brendan Allen. He's gonna have to fight lower on the rankings. So, maybe a Brendan Allen, maybe a Shara Bullet. Shara Bullet just took an L to Michael Venom Page. Somebody that's just taken an L recently as well. Or maybe an up-and-comer. I don't know. But I think maybe Shara Bullet or Brendan Allen would be a good next fight for Izzy if he chooses to fight again. Retirement, like I said, should be considered. Izzy has made a lot of money throughout his career. A fuck ton of money. And he's a UFC legend. Like I even said this before the fight happened. Before Israel Adesanya versus Nasruddin Imavov took place, approximately like 15 minutes before the fight happened, while I was watching a commercial on live stream, I had said that Izzy could get knocked out in the first 10 seconds of his fight against Nasruddin, and he'll still go down as a UFC legend. He'll still go to the Hall of Fame. He's done enough in his career to earn respect, to earn glory, to be remembered. His knockout against Alex Pereira in their rematch in the UFC will be remembered. That was an amazing fight, and the celebration he did afterwards was even more memorable than the damn fight. The bow and arrow shit, legendary. People started fucking repeating it in multiple sports and different things, and people saw that and they were inspired by it. He's an inspiration. Same way Alex Pereira is, he is. So like I said, if it's retirement, that's fine. If it's not retirement, that's fine. I don't think Izzy's doing bad enough to scream for a retirement like Tony Ferguson. He's on his way to becoming Tony Ferguson, because he's kind of, just he's in a losing streak. That's the only reason why he's on his way to being Tony Ferguson. He's got this losing streak that he's building up now. Okay, this is loss number 3. He could go for 4, 5, 6, 7, and then match up with Tony. So, but Lost 4, 5, 6, 7 may not even happen because Izzy could turn this around and get a W next fight. You know, that's what you got to look. That's how you got to look at it as an Israel Adesanya fan. You got to keep hope. You know, so if Izzy chooses to stay in the fight game and continue in the UFC, great on him. He's not doing poor enough for me specifically to call for him to retire. I think it takes another 2 losses for him to be like, for me to scream you need to retire. It would take another 2 losses for me to, just kind of, I mean, yeah, it just takes another 2 losses for retirement to be fully warranted. Izzy's not that old. He's not. He's definitely not in like washed old range. He does look washed, but he's not in like the age range where like washed, like being washed kind of just comes upon you. Um, he's still young enough to compete, and to compete rigorously, vibrantly with the same vigor as a up and comer. So yeah, I don't think Izzy needs to retire. I don't recommend Izzy retire. This is a 3rd loss in a row. It's not great. It's not a great look, but he could still afford another 1 to 2 losses before it's okay. Time to pack it up. Another 2 losses. Then it's time to do that. Izzy doesn't have to risk that. He could retire now, and we don't have to witness another 2 terrible Israel Adesanya losses. But if he wants to roll the dice and continue to fight, I back it. I'm behind it. I'm sure a lot of you guys are, because he's a legend. It's fun to watch him fight, and I'm sure he can string together at least one more win before retirement. So here's to Izzy. He's a great fighter, a legend of the sport, pioneer of the UFC, and one of the most entertaining fighters ever, and one of the greatest fighters ever, and arguably the middleweight GOAT. But overall, you let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But most importantly, subscribe. I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next.